So I thought I'd do a follow-up video because I've just made a bit of an interesting discovery. So here we are in Cinema 4D version 19, and the render settings are all set up exactly the same pretty much. We have the regular image and the multipass image, which is derived from the object buffer, both set to render as PNGs with an 8-bit color channel. So if I go ahead and hit render on that, we can see here our two files here. As before, the regular image has no problem being put into After Effects, as we will see any second now, whereas, and this is the problem, is that the object buffer mask PNG will not be able to be put into it. So one thing I would need to note is, as I kind of figured out in the previous video, if I put this PNG into Photoshop, I can tell that the color profile is in grayscale. So the solution previously, in my previous video, was to change the color profile from grayscale to RGB, and that would fix it. But something really interesting happened when I opened the same file in an older version of Cinema 4D. So we are now actually in Cinema 4D version 17. Previously we were in version 19, but now we're in 17. So again, everything is set up to render exactly the same. The only difference here is that we're in version 17, not 19. So I'm going to go ahead and render this, overwrite, so the render's finished. So now these renders here are what has just been done in version 17, because they've overwritten what was done in 19. So let's try again. I'm going to go ahead and put the color file into After Effects, and it's going to think about it for a bit, and it brings it in just as it always has done. But now, what's interesting is I put the mask into After Effects. Again, it'll think about it, but look what happens here. It actually puts it in. So when we rendered this out from version Cinema 4D version 19, it errored out when we tried putting the file in, but when we render out from a previous version, i.e. version 17, it goes in straight away. But what's even more interesting is if I examine the mask file that's been given from version 19 in Photoshop, the color profile is still in grayscale. I was thinking perhaps that maybe in version 17 it had rendered out this image with a RGB color profile, but no, they're both being rendered out with grayscale color profiles. Just the version 17 render works in After Effects, and the version 19 render just doesn't work in After Effects. So clearly it seems like the problem with this lies with Cinema 4D rather than After Effects, and more specifically Cinema 4D version 19. So that was just an interesting observation.